All right, let's talk about something that's a huge deal for pretty much every business out there: privacy. We're going to dive into how you move privacy from being just a bunch of legal documents gathering dust on a shelf to being a real, living, breathing operational system. This is all about turning that legal theory into day-to-day reality.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. This is the big mindset shift. For so long, people thought of privacy as a box you check one time. But it's not. It's an active, dynamic system. And honestly, getting this right is the difference between being compliant and being totally exposed.
And for any company that hasn't quite made that mental leap yet, well, the reality check can be pretty brutal. Let's dig into why that old way of thinking isn't just a little outdated, it's genuinely dangerous now.
I mean, for years, the bar was so low, right? You just stick a privacy link in your website's footer, maybe have a basic contact us form, and you were golden. That was considered good enough. But today, regulators and even your customers see that as just plain negligent. That cracked road is no longer a back alley. It leads straight to investigations, big compliance headaches, and some pretty massive fines.
So where does it all go wrong? Where are the weak spots? Well, the data shows that it almost always boils down to two specific areas that create the most risk: your public-facing privacy notices and how you handle people's requests for their data, what we call DSRs, or data subject requests.
And this really puts it in black and white. On the left, you've got the old-school approach. The privacy notice is just a legal formality, and data requests are handled through some simple email form. The new reality, on the right, is that these are now incredibly high-risk, super litigious parts of your business that absolutely demand a complete end-to-end workflow to manage them safely.
Okay, so that's the problem. How do we start to fix it? Let's tackle that first big risk area, your privacy notices. The goal here is to transform them from these dense, impossible-to-read legal docs into tools that are clear, functional, and actually make people trust you more.
Your first step really is to do an audit. And a privacy notice health check is the perfect way to frame it. Think of it like a report card for your notice, grading everything from how easy it is to understand to whether it's actually, legally compliant.
And this is what that health check really gets into. It's not just about legal gobbledygook. It makes you answer some really basic, practical questions, like, can a normal person actually read this? Is it crystal clear why you're collecting their data? And, this one's so important, are you tracking changes with a version history? That last one is what turns your notice from just a static file into a living, auditable document. It's a game changer.
And of course, just when you think you've got your notice perfected, you get hit with another layer of complexity: geography. If you do business around the world, a one-size-fits-all notice is just not going to cut it. The rules can change dramatically depending on where your users are.
I mean, just look at this quick snapshot of the challenge. Europe's big privacy law, GDPR, has one set of rules. California's CCPA has another. Then you've got India's DPDPA, which has its own unique ideas like the right to nominate, plus a whole host of different laws across the Middle East. Each one needs its own tailored approach. Trying to juggle all of this manually is frankly a recipe for disaster.
All right, so that's notices. Let's pivot to the second, and let's be honest, often way more chaotic part of this whole thing: handling data subject rights requests. If your notices are all about being transparent, DSRs are about giving people control, and this is where internal processes can really fall apart.
The only way to get a handle on DSRs is to bring some order to the chaos. You have to systematize it. And this 6-step life cycle you see here is the blueprint for doing that. It lays out every single stage, from the moment a request comes in to the final audit. It makes sure you don't miss crucial steps like verifying someone's identity. This isn't just a to-do list, it's a full-blown operational workflow.
And yeah, just like with notices, the rights a person has totally depend on where they live. This table is a perfect example. You can see that the right to access your data is pretty common across Europe and California, but a unique right, like nomination, that's specific to India's DPDPA. Your system has to be smart enough to know this stuff to give the right response.
And this is where theory hits the pavement, because you're going to get weird stuff. Vague requests, people demanding you delete data when you're legally required to keep it, really complicated requests from your own employees. Without a standard process, your team is just winging it, and that is a massive compliance risk.
So we've kind of dissected the two biggest risks, notices and DSRs, and the workflows you need to manage them. Now let's zoom out a bit and see how all these pieces click together to build a complete operational platform for your privacy program.
A truly modern privacy platform is built on these 5 pillars. See, it's not just about handling requests as they come in. It needs deep data discovery, so you actually know where all the data is. It needs automation to handle things at scale. And maybe most importantly, it needs well-trained people and a mindset of always getting better. This is the blueprint for turning policy into actual practice.
And this is what it looks like when it's working. A dashboard like this gives you a real-time command center. You can see exactly how many requests are in the queue, which ones are being worked on, and if any are getting dangerously close to their deadline. This kind of visibility is what separates a true operational system from a reactive, chaotic one.
But hey, let's be real. No system is perfect. Things break, gears can jam. What happens when you suddenly get a flood of requests, or a key person is out, or an internal process just fails? Having a system is great, but you also need a plan for when that system gets overwhelmed.
And that's where a critical process action plan comes into play. It's your emergency playbook. It's not just about dealing with the immediate mess. It's about figuring out the root cause so you can improve your policies, upgrade your tech, or retrain your staff to make sure the same thing doesn't happen all over again.
You know, I think this quote perfectly sums up this whole journey. Law meets logic. That means we stop just reading the regulations and start designing smart, logical workflows. And compliance meets execution. That means we build systems that don't just state what we're supposed to do, but that actually flawlessly carry it out. That's the end game.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Take a really honest look at your own organization. Are you still running on paper policies and processes made up on the fly? Or have you built a true, resilient, operational system? Because the answer to that question is going to define your privacy risk for a long, long time.